What is your absolutely favorite quote you've heard? When you are good at something you will tell everyone. When you are great everyone will tell you. Me. LMAO I don't have imposter syndrome. Also me. When you are mediocre at something everyone will tell you you're great. But only you know better. Often. The less there is to justify a traditional custom, the harder it is to get rid of it. Mark Twain. Love his quotes. One of my faves is, politicians and diapers should be changed often, and for the same reason. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Be as you wish to seem. Socrates. This is a solid foundation for life. Imo. Happiness is to be found along the way, not at the end of the road. Robert Updegraff. Of all sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these. It might have been. John Greenleaf Whittier. Loneliness does not come from having no one around us, but instead being unable to communicate the things that matter most to us. Carl Jung. Might be S-word or to off. Entire quote. Coming right up. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. It's okay to go through awful places. Just don't stop and unpack. If you're going through hell, keep going. I never wonder to see men wicked, but I often wonder to see them not ashamed. Jonathan Swift. Or, everything in moderation, including moderation. Oscar Wilde. Another Oscar Wilde. I can resist everything but temptation. A cynic knows the price of everything, and the value of nothing. The only hypocrite I like is myself. I love hypocrites. They double their chance of agreeing with me. Have you ever noticed that anybody driving slower than you is an idiot, and anyone going faster than you is a maniac? George Carlin. My personal Carlin gem is think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that. There is considerable overlap between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists. Yellowstone Park Ranger. Eventually, all our grades go unattended. Conan O'Brien. There's a moment in the future where you are remembered one last time. Fuck. One moment of patience, in a moment of anger, can save 1,000 moments of regret. There's a similar quote from Marcus Aurelius. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press on" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge. This one gives me hope. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Or, the more simplified version from Jake the dog. Sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something. The true master is an eternal student. Master Yi. Biology is really chemistry. Chemistry is really physics. Physics is really math. Math is really hard. I'm triggered. It is possible to make no mistakes and lose. That is not failure. That is life. CPT Jane Luckpickard. How lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard? Winnie the Pooh. What day is it? Asked Pooh. Why, it's today. Squeaked Piglet. Ah, my favorite day. Said Pooh. Highly recommend the Tower of Pooh. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. Suntees edu. Laughs in stainless steel. Stainless steel has shit tons of its own problems. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. The space cloud from Futurama. I once saw a documentary about the Y2K bug, and one guy, who was a programmer, said, "You never get credit for the disasters you avert, especially if you're a programmer and nobody understands what you're doing to begin with." That's exactly why there are anti-vaxxers. It's hard to show people that something is working when it working means nothing happens. If you have a problem, and then you spend a bunch of energy worrying and fretting about it, then you have to underscore problems. And then you procrastinate solving it until the last minute. Now you've got 3 problems. The only reason you should look into your neighbor's bowl is to make sure they have enough to eat. That entire scene is great. If the world breaks your legs, you go and beat it with your crutch. George Watsky. It's only after we've lost everything that we are free to do anything. Fight Club. If they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, they can make something out of you. Muhammad Ali. Moldy bread was actually good for something else at one point. Oh, the don't rate people class. I can teach this in 10 seconds. Look, never touch. But it's okay to look. Just never touch, unless they say it's okay. Random drill sergeant who burst in the room during my basic training sexual assault prevention class. They have to dumb it down for the dumbasses. Pretty sure it worked. None of the guys from my flight raped anyone. As far as I know, I have most of them on Facebook. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. Andy Bernard, The Office. If at first you don't succeed, then skydiving definitely isn't for you. Stephen Wright. I do not love the bright sword for its sharpness, nor the arrow for its swiftness, nor the warrior for his glory. I love only that which they defend. Faramir, J.R.R. Tolkien. Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Tolkien was full of beautiful quotes like this. He was an amazing author and an even more amazing person. If more of us valued food and drink above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. If you look for the darkness, that's all you will ever see. But if you look for the light, often you will find it. Rob. Pride is not the opposite of shame, but its source. True humility is the only antidote to shame. Rob. Life happens wherever you are, whether you make it or not. Rob. It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If you take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Rob.